The Aramaic and Palestinian Targum, Deuteronomy chapter 6. And this is the declaration of the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments, which the Lord your God hath commanded me to teach you, to perform in the land to which you pass over to inherit, that thou mayest fear the Lord thy God, and keep all his statutes and precepts which I command thee, thou, thy son, and the son of thy son, all the days of thy life, and that thou mayest prolong the days. Hearken then, Israel, to keep and to do, that it may be well with thee, and you may increase greatly, as the Lord God of thy fathers hath spoken to thee, that he will give thee a land whose fruit are rich as milk, and sweet as honey. Jerusalem text says, a land producing good fruits, pure as milk, sweet and tasty as honey. It was when the time came that our father Jacob should be gathered out of the world. He was anxious lest there might be an idolater among his sons. He called them and questioned them, is there such perversity in your hearts? They answered, all of them together, and said to him, Hear Israel, our father, the Lord our God is one Lord. Jacob made response and said, Blessed be his glorious name for ever and ever. The Jerusalem text says, when the end had come to our father Jacob, that he should be taken up from the world, he called the 12 tribes his sons, and gathered them around his couch. Then Jacob our father rose up and said to them, Do you worship any idol that Terah the father of Abraham worshipped? Do you worship any idol that Laban, the brother of his mother, worshipped? Or worship you the God of Jacob? The 12 tribes answered together with fullness of heart and said, Hear now, Israel our father. The Lord our God is one Lord. Jacob responded and said, May his great name be blessed forever. Moshe the prophet said to the people of the house of Israel, Follow after the true worship of your fathers, that you may love the Lord your God with each disposition of your hearts, and also that he may accept your souls, and the dedicated service of all your wealth, and let these words which I command you this day be written upon the tablets of your hearts. And thou shalt unfold them to thy children, and meditate upon them when thou art sitting in your houses, at the time when you are occupied in secret chambers, or in journeying by the way, at evening when you lie down, and at morning when you arise. And you shall bind them as written signs upon your left hand, that they shall be for rephilion upon thy forehead, over thine eyes. And thou shalt write them upon the pillars, and affix them there in 3 places, against the cupboard, upon the posts of thy house, and on the right hand of thy gate, in thy going out. And when the Lord thy God hath brought thee into the land which he promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, thy fathers, to give thee cities great and goodly, which thou didst not toil in building houses, also filled with all good, which thou wast not occupied in filling, and hew citrons and hewing, which thou didst not labour, vineyards and olives, with planting which thou wast not wearied. And when thou hast eaten and art satisfied, beware lest you forget the fear of the Lord your God, who delivered and led you out free from the land of Mizraim, from the house of the affliction of slaves. But fear the Lord your God, and worship before him, and swear by the name of the word of the Lord in truth. You shall not go after the idols of the Gentiles, the idols of the people who are round about you, for the Lord our God is a jealous God and an avenger, whose Shekinah dwelleth in the midst of you, lest the anger of the Lord your God be kindled against you, and he quickly destroy you from the face of the earth. Sons of Israel, my people, be warned not to tempt the Lord your God as you tempted him in the 10 temptations. Keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies and statutes which he hath commanded you, and do what is good and right before the Lord, that it may be well with you, and ye may go in and possess by inheritance the good land which the Lord covenanted to your fathers, that he may drive out all thy enemies before thee, as the Lord hath said. When thy son, in time to come, shall ask thee, saying, What are the testimonies, statutes, and judgments which the Lord thy God hath commanded you? Then ye shall say to your sons, We were servants to Pharaoh in Mizraim, and the word of the Lord brought us out of Mizraim with a mighty hand. And the word of the Lord wrought signs, great wonders, and sore plagues on Mizraim and on Pharaoh and all the men of his house, which our eyes beheld. But us he led forth free, to bring us in and give us the land which he swore to our fathers. And the Lord commanded us to perform all these statutes, that we may fear the Lord our God for good to us in all days, that he may preserve us alive, as at the time of this day, and the reward of righteousness will be reserved for us in the world to come, if we keep all these commandments to perform them before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us. End of the reading. Blessed be his name.